Greetings everybody, I am Shujaat from Medicos lectures by Shujaat, and today we are going to talk about musculoskeletal system histology. We are going to study muscle and bone at a tissue level. So first of all, let's talk about the muscle at a tissue level. That muscle tissue, that what it is. So muscles, they are basically specialized contractile cells that are called fibers. Moving and talking about further its layer, so it is basically composed of fibrils. So when we take about a single muscle tissue and cross section it, we will study this type of tissue. Here is a cross section of skeletal muscle. So we have its three layers: epiphysis, endomysium, epiphysis or epimysium, and perimysium. And muscle's own covering, we know it as fascicle. Fascicle is basically the covering inside it. This is fascicle, and they're collective and they form a tendon which attach muscles to bone. So we says that component as it is our tendon. So when we further cross sect that, so here we have myofibril and sarcolemma. They are basically major role in contraction of muscle. Contraction and relaxation phenomena are performed by these compartments, these components. These are actin, myosin, and Z line and M line. So when contraction occur, they basically change their shape like this. They start M line start moving closer, Z line and actin and myosin contract. In case of relaxation, they are pulled apart. Major roles are basically the phenomena of contraction and relaxation have major role in blood supply, calcium supply, and transport of nutrients in muscles. We have basic three types of muscles, so we are going in detail of that one by one, and then we're moving toward the bones. So our first type is skeletal muscle. As its name shows, skeletal muscle. So in its diagram we see multinucleation. So it is multinucleated, having more than one nuclei. Shape is cylindrical, under voluntary control, and move bone. If skeletal muscles are not, we aren't able to move our bones. In the same way, we have a motor nerve origination in brain and spinal cord that are basically of this skeletal muscle. Now talking about the smooth muscles histology. They are basically non-striated, spindle in shape, as we saw their shape. So they are spindle in shape, they are involuntary, and they are automated. What automated means they are responsible and they are able to initiate their own response. So they are automated and they are involuntary in their actions. So talking about cardiac muscles, so they are basically found in heart. As their name shows, they are cardiac muscles. They are involuntary, possessing intercalated sheaths, and they are also automated. Means there are nothing control that we have. So they are responsible for initiating their own response. So when we talk about the skeletal tissue, so as we focus on their name, skeletal tissue. So skeletal tissue, they are basically cells that are called chondrocyte, as it is a combination of two words, skeletal and tissues. So there is basically cells which are known as chondrocytes, which sits in cavities that we called as lacunas, and those lacunas are basically placed inside extracellular matrix, and that extracellular matrix possessing ground substance and water. In simply, we have cells known as chondrocytes. Those chondrocytes, they are lies in cavities, we name them as lacunas. Those lacunas, they are placed in extracellular matrix, that extracellular matrix possessing ground substance and water. Bone is divided into two components: bone matrix and bone cells. So when we talk about the bone matrix, it is basically composed of two components. It is further divided into two components: osteoid component and mineral component. Osteoid component is basically containing mucopolysaccharides, glycosaminoglycan, calcium and phosphates. They are basically possessed in mineral components. So two components, osteoids and mineral component. Mineral component contain calcium and phosphate, and osteoid component, as its name shows, osteoid, so it contain mucopolysaccharide aminoglycans. So when you talk about the bone cells, so there is 4 types of bone cells. One is bone forming, bone dissolving, mature bone cell, and one is stem cell. So progenitor is stem cell, while osteocyte is mature bone cell, osteoblast is bone forming cell, osteoclast is bone dissolving cell. We also see that macrophage or resorption cell. So when we talk about the cross section of that bone, so in that bone, in its outer part, we have Haversian system. That Haversian system is further open up into Haversian canal, and that Haversian canal contain arteries, veins, and capillaries and nerves. So this bone forming cell, it resides sometime here, and after that it will get mature in that, and it will shift into the osteocyte. When we see the bone, so there is 2 parts. One is medullary or shaft, and the other one is upper or head part. Medullary or shaft part, we know them as diaphysis, and upper part is epiphysis, which we know as. So there is 2 divisions. One is periosteum, as its name shows, peri mean outer. So it is further divided into 2 components. Outer is dense and irregular connective tissue, and inner is containing osteogenic components or cells. And endosteum, it is basically containing tuberculi and canaliculi. So guys, this is our basic musculoskeletal system histology. In quick overview, we discussed from a basic muscle definition to the process of contraction and types of muscles at a tissue level. In the same way, we discussed skeletal tissue, its definition, its divisions, and cells of that bone. Hope you all will understand it. Don't forget to subscribe Medicos lectures by Shujaat. Thank you so much.